Hello everybody, Mark here, Havana's Summer House, and tonight I'm going to smoke a cigar that's becoming a bit of a favourite, very cheap. Again, I'm sort of starting off on the lower end of the market, so again, if you are exploring the world of cigars, then you can't really go wrong with some of these ones that I'm sort of smoking in the early stages of the channel. Tonight it is the Factory Smoke, the Shade. Out of the range that I have tried of these, I've had the Shade, the Maduro and the Sweet. Now the Sweet's rather interesting because obviously it's got a very sort of sugary taste on the wrapper, which is rather unusual because it does tend to stay with you right the way through the smoke, and usually with sort of flavoured and sort of sweetened cigars they tend to lose it sort of after the first few moments, but those ones tend to go right the way through. The Shade and the Maduro tend to come in bundles of 25, whereas the Sweet only come in a pack of 20, so reasonably priced. Last I checked, under $60. You can't go wrong. I mean, just for the sake of having a cigar with a cup of coffee, you can't go wrong with them. I've seen other presenters doing videos on them, being referred to as a yard gar, that type of thing, something that you might smoke when you're out doing a little bit of gardening, mowing the lawn, etc. Me personally, I think they're a little bit more than that. For just the sake of smoking something while you're trimming the hedge, I think these are a little bit nicer than just using for something like that. Good draw. They're not the best made. Tend to look after them because I have had them in the past where they tend to get a bit sort of spongy as the smoke goes on. Obviously it's getting a lot of vapour going through there. I have had the odd ones where the wrappers have sort of started to come apart. You sort of have to persevere with them a little bit, but like I say, you tend to get what you pay for. But for what you pay for, you still get a really good cigar. Now, like the Conception that I smoked yesterday, I tend to find these sort of along the similar lines of a King Edward. They're not really going to blow your head off when you're smoking them, although sometimes, odd time with the Maduro, I have had a bit of a kick. But the Shade ones aren't as bad. Again, if you're just starting out in cigars, they're a lovely size, and you can pick them up price of a box of Panatellas. It's just annoying to think that I sort of get 20 of these for the cost of just one cigar. So if you're on a budget, again, you can't go wrong. Now, unlike the Conception, which was very mild, had a really nice, easy retro hail, this one is got a bit more of a peppery kick to it. I do like peppery tobaccos, so for me, I enjoy these a lot more. I'm not getting any bitterness there. A little bit of walnut taste, but I do tend to get that from cigars. I tend to get a lot more sort of walnut, almonds from sort of new age cigars, yet when I sort of smoke Cubans I get sort of a strange taste which I tend to associate with sort of pear drop sweets, these little hard boiled sweets that we can get in the UK. So that strange aftertaste, I tend to get that from Cubans, but these new age ones get that nice walnut, and again, you have it with a cup of coffee. I think that's what I like about them. I certainly make sure that I have a good supply of these in the humidor. Again, they're just a nice cigar if you're going out somewhere, you're going just out for a few drinks with your friends and you want to hand something around. They're not expensive, so if you only end up half smoked in the ashtray, you're not going to break your heart and your bank over it. Like I say, a few flaws with these cigars is, again, sometimes, I don't know if you can notice there, you can just sort of see the wrappers just very coming loose a little bit. I just tend to lick my finger and just stick it down a little bit and just keep an eye out, be wary of what's happening. I do sometimes get the odd void in the filler, so you end up like with a bit of a gouge going in there, a little bit of a one there, but nothing to get excited about. You do tend to get canoeing, that happens with these, but again, like I've said, you get what you pay for. But if you just want something to sit at the top of the garden and have a coffee and chill out, they're pretty good for that. I certainly wouldn't be pulling these out if I was amongst company of cigar aficionados, because obviously they'd probably look at you with disgust. But if you're just at home and having a little drink and you think to yourself, oh, I just fancy a cigar, you can't go wrong. Now, unlike the conception last night, I'm not getting that sort of slight pissy nappy smell, because I'm not getting any kind of bitter aftertaste. I don't think there's any little nasties in this at the moment, so I'll probably get away with having to do a purge on this. Don't get us wrong, I have purged them in the past, but this one seems to be holding its own at the moment. We'll see though. Again, if you've got a friend who's breaking into cigars and they working their way up the chain, not a bad little one just to hand out and let them have a try. like I said, this is definitely a stronger retro here than the Conception. A lot of pepper there. I'll probably get my head in my hands here, but I actually think it's a tastier cigar than the GQ one. But again, like I said last night, I do think these GQ ones have potential. I think if you put them away in your humidor for a few years, you'll get a really nice taste to them. So I'm going to smoke this a little bit more and get about the halfway mark, and we'll come back to it and see how it goes. Won't be long. Hello again. Just getting a little bit of a bitter taste coming through on this now. And I mentioned in the last video that one of the things that I do believe in is a term called purging. Now what that is, you light the front of the cigar, so obviously instead of taking a draw, you gently blow through the cigar, and what you tend to do is you'll get a flame coming from the end, and just gently, obviously try not to draw in any air too quickly, otherwise you might inhale some smoke and give yourself a coughing fit. It is a little bit fiddly. It does take a little bit of getting used to get your technique right. Don't get us wrong, it's took me a few goes to get it to go that way. But what tends to happen is if there is any sort of ammonia or little nasties sort of building up inside the cigar, it just helps eradicate them and burn them off. Think of it really as sort of the overspill on an oil rig where they have that gas burning. You know, it's like getting rid of the horrible gases and things like that. So I'm going to have a go at doing it with this. I'm just going to use the matches instead of using the torch lighter. So what I tend to do is I draw on it until I sort of get the flame coming into the cigar, then I just gently blow back out. Now as the flame dies down, I don't know if you saw it very well there because I was sort of concentrating on what I was doing, I wasn't really watching the camera. As the flame sort of dies down naturally, there's less and less actually in the cigar, and then when you sort of reach the point, just gently draw back onto the cigar. Me personally, I do find a difference in the taste once I've done that. Yeah, that bitterness has gone. You will know what I mean about the bitterness because it's sort of really acidic, and it's almost like sort of drinking a very bitter white wine where you get that like sort of feeling. That's when you know. But what I tend to find is I do that purge, I'll have a drink of something just to clean my palate. And then you're good to go. I tend to do that on every cigar I smoke. I tend to wait till I get about halfway down, or in some cases like the Conception, I've got it right at the beginning. Once I got that out, the rest of the smoke was brilliant. Some cigars I've smoked, I've never had to do it once. So again, it just really depends on the brand, I think, because these factory smokes, I do tend to find that every one I smoke I do a purge on it. This one actually hasn't been too bad tonight. I've not really had any canoeing issues. It's kept itself a little bit behaved. I mean, a little bit there, but nothing. I mean, I have seen it come down as far as sort of this before, and no amount of wetting your finger and trying to soak the outer wrapper to try and calm it down is going to work. But again, it's the luck of the draw. I've had it happen with expensive cigars. I've known me buy a box of Romeo Juliet #2 and get several in the box that don't smoke that great. They've either got draw issues or they just haven't been quite right. So yeah, it is the luck of the draw. But there's nothing more heartbreaking than spending sort of £20 to £30 on a cigar and you have a nasty experience. And again, I think a lot of people who do sort of go out and experience cigars, they'll go to a tobacconist, oh, what's your best cigar? Naturally, he's going to sell you his best cigar. And but you go into a tobacconist, let him know that obviously you're a first time cigar smoker. If you smoke cigarettes or you smoke a pipe, etc., let him know what sort of tastes and flavours you like, and then obviously that'll help a tobacconist. He might just start you off on something that's only a couple of quid just to get you started. But if you do go into a tobacconist and you give him all this and he tries to sell you a £50 to £60 cigar, walk away. Just don't spend the money. Because I can guarantee you, your first experience with a cigar won't be that great. It's like everything else, it takes time. You've got to build up to it. I don't think I know anybody who's gone straight into cigar smoking and took to it like a duck to water. So it's like anything else, it's baby steps. And again, these cigars are really good for that. Well, I think I'll leave it there and I can sit back and finish the rest of this. So thank you for watching. Again, if you have tried these, let us know what you think. Like I say, I've been smoking cigars for off and on for a while, and you know, I still think these are a canny little stick actually. And yeah, give them a go. So until the next time, take care, enjoy a cigar, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.